This is question 1, which is using a demand-supply diagram, analyse the effect on the market for games consoles of the information given about productivity and rises in demand. And what you'll see from the case study is that they say that the productivity of the workers in the games console industry has risen, in which case what's going to happen is that the supply curve is going to shift to the right. In other words, if you want to think about it, at any price level here, we're saying that initially we would be able to get this amount of output from our workers, but when their productivity rises, we now get an increase in the amount of output from the workers. Now, what's quite important is that in the written part of your work, you have to say that this is a shift of the supply curve. Then the other part of the question is saying, what about the rises in demand? Now, what they are saying in the extract is that income rises and therefore it's a normal good, and if income rises it's a normal good, what you'll find is that the demand curve will move out to a point D1. Now, the question then is analyse the effect on the market. Now, what's really important is that the effect on the market is always going to be what happens to prices here at any equilibrium point and what happens to the quantity. Now, with the shift of the demand curve there to the right and with the shift of the supply curve to the right, we have a new equilibrium point here which I'll call E1. Okay, now what that effectively says is that there will be a higher quantity being traded in the marketplace, and in this case, the way I've drawn the curves, the price is going to be a bit higher. However, I could have drawn the curves where this demand curve hasn't shifted out so far, it's only gone out to a point here perhaps, and therefore we can't actually say anything about price. So in this particular case, what we would say is that price is indeterminate. However, what we need to look at is the demand in the market, or the quantity being traded in the market rather, and what we will see is that that has gone up, and we'll call that Q1. So there has been an increase in the quantity traded, look, in the marketplace, but we can't say what's happened to the price. Now again, the key words to use are that the supply curve has shifted to the right, the demand curve has shifted to the right, that the quantity being traded in the marketplace. Never say quantity demanded, because that only refers to a demand curve, or even quantity supplied, because that only refers to the supply curve. What we need to say is that the equilibrium quantity being traded, that's the key phrase to use, has risen. And in that case, you will then have answered the question to analyse the effect on the market. And it's about the market equilibrium. And in this case, we can say about the quantity being traded in the marketplace, but the price, what happens to the price, is indeterminate.